November 14th. It is now 6:18. I just want to remind all members that this meeting is being recorded as per the city charter, and we're mandated to have this being live. Okay, is it live?
Yes, we are. Yes, sir.
live.
Yes, we are.
I call this meeting to order. Let me take attendance. One or two, starting from my right, introduce yourself, sir, and let's go around.
Michael Pimentel, committee member.
Susan Camerata, committee member.
Freddie Perez, committee chairperson. So at this point, we haven't established quorum, but we will proceed and have the presenters present. And if someone walks in, then we can move on with the approval of the agenda. I'm not going to go into any old business. We don't have any new business. I guess I'll push this towards the end. I'd like to go straight into the presentation. And so is Ms. Yahaira Saavedra, the project manager for La Morada Corporation. And I understand you're asking for a letter of support.
Yes, sir.
You can start you can start your presentation, and please indicate why you need a letter of support and to whom we are addressing the letter of support. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I just want to say thank you so much for having me at the very last minute. It wasn't until yesterday that I realized that La Morada is a big time qualifier for the RFP grant, and therefore I've decided that I am in need of a letter of support for the RFP grant. I know that entails us submitting the whole application beforehand, and I would like to have a follow-up meeting in the next meeting, if possible, to provide the whole application and therefore make it more formally. But for now, I would just like a simple presentation of what we've been working on.
So you want to come back in the next meeting, which I believe is December 12th.
Yes, I'll be back.
Is that what it is?
What meeting? The economic
Which
growth?
the next one? Yeah. What is it? You just this.
It's the second Tuesday, it should be, but.
All right. No, he'll reach out to you and tell you when to come back. Okay. They'll
Yeah.
reach out to you. So you want to make a simple presentation.
Yes, sir. Unless I'm able to present sooner, I'm also very flexible on that. Due to the RFP grant being
Well, because it's a voting item, he has to
Exactly.
place you on the calendar,
Okay.
and there has to be quorum.
Okay.
And it's at the discretion of the chair and the district manager to place you on the agenda for that specific day, okay?
That'll be
Just be
great.
prepared with everything.
Yes, sure.
Go ahead.
All right. So La Morada opened in
You guys
2009.
have your presentation,
Yes.
packets for it, and then we're gonna put you up on the screen so just give us 5 seconds.
Awesome. So my name is Yahaira Saavedra. I'm here with my mom, Natalia Mendez, who's also chef and owner of La Morada. We are a small business. We're migrant-owned, woman-led, indigenous. So all of the BIPOC, all of the minority check boxes, we're there. And we've been open and helping this community since 2009, and it has become more than a restaurant. It is a community hub. We are currently the most awarded restaurant, or perhaps even the most awarded small business in Mount Haven. We have been published in every single newspaper in English that you could think of, any national, USA, Daily News, New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg Magazine, Time Magazine in Spanish, constantly in Univision, Telemundo. So it's a gem here, and we worked really hard for that title. We worked very hard to continue providing excellent Oaxacan indigenous food to this community. Recently, the New York Times said that we brought Oaxaca to New York, right? So we started that trend of the mole, of what is real indigenous cuisine. And the best part is that it's affordable and it's here in Mount Haven. And most of our customers are day-to-day neighbors who come through. So when the pandemic hit, we automatically knew that our success stemmed from our community members, from our neighbors. And we just couldn't not help them out. And we decided to feed people, regardless of there not being any grant opportunities given at that moment, because we were the first. We're talking about 2020. And we started off the first week with like 1,000 meals, and every single day it just multiplied. And it was very faith driven, in which where we needed a box of tomato and our neighbors at Brook Park or at any community gardens will say like, hey, we harvested all of these items for you guys. And that's how we started our mutual aid kitchen. And from there, it spread into a mutual aid network where we have relationships with a lot of others, mutual aid kitchens, as well as the fridges. Mott Haven, you guys already know, it's a pandemic after pandemic that we always battled. We're like, unfortunately, having the highest asthma rate, having the highest diabetes rates. So good nutrition is always needed, good food is always needed, and it's a constant need to serve our communities, and therefore we haven't stopped. When Mitchell Housing had their chimney fell down, we were there by 9 a.m. We were there because our neighbors who didn't know who to reach to went to La Morada. When there's ice raids, who they reach out to La Morada, because we always put actions first. And like I've said, and in one of my slides, it will show how much money we have received from the state and city, and that is $0. And now with the RFB grant, now that we have the opportunity to establish in our own location, about 5 minutes away from La Morada, we hope to get your support to open this in this new location. Next slide, please.
You want to know what the garden house you had was?
Yeah, we'll consider. Yes.
Explain.
Yeah, so this is us, and this is our beautiful, humble restaurant. It's a current space. We have, like my mom will say in Spanish, está con chiflado. It's like saying a wheel. It's con chiflado. It's like when a wheel loses all its gas, it's all potential, it's like run down. And whatever right now is run down because of all of the free meals and all of the love and labor we have put throughout the whole pandemic and in our 15 years being in existence. The awning was created by a bunch of kids from Mott Haven, and everything about it is just like community orientated. And we could easily, we're Michelin bid for like 5 years in a row. So we could easily like turn it into a fine dining, hike up our prices, but we don't, because it's like, it's for our love, our community. It's who sustains us. It's who we are as Indigenous people, where we want to be part of the community constantly. And without that essence, then it just loses its essence. So with that in mind, we always want to give the best, and we know that what people want is to eat whatever they want. There will always be complaints about the food in whatever like soup kitchen you go to, because there is no more comfort than eating and cooking whatever you can. Unfortunately, having food access and having food, just the whole, like, it's a luxury to be able to cook. A lot of these buildings don't have their own gases, right? A lot of these people can't afford food, much less with the SNAP cuts. So what we did is we started a community garden. We renovated a community garden in 2022, and it's called the Bruckner Mott Haven Garden, and it's like a state-of-the-art where community members are able to go and grow their own food. So now, and we also have a hearth where people could cook their own food, where they grow, right? So going back into like giving back to the community as much as we can, and it's like food sovereignty, right? We're all about that, so we're gonna go the extra mile. It's not only about giving them free food or whatever we could find in City Harvest or not. It's giving them that right to choose. And we have expanded a lot. Yes, sir, please. Here are all of our awards. This is just like the first page of Google. So if you want to know more about us, just Google us. It's like, I'm not bluffing about who we are. Yes. And our current state is that we maximize our space. Like right now, out of like 12 mesas que tenemos ahorita, 12 tables, only 4 are available for people to come in and dine in. And that is because like about 75% of the restaurant space is still um, used for mutual aid distribution and just helping our community. So we're in a really bad state of needing a bigger space to serve both our community and to continue our restaurant growing. And we want to turn this into that, which is a brand new restaurant, spick and span, where people could go and dine in, but there will also be a cafe where we hope to continue having people come in and pick up their meals for free if they need to. This is again without any sort of grants from any city or state that we have got. We don't have gotten this year. We didn't receive any grants from Rethink. We didn't receive any grants from the World Central Kitchens. Y'all know from being on the board who receives that, and that's folks at Port Morris. And we're always left out. But nevertheless, our love for the community is what helps us continue growing and going and continue feeding them, because it's like, as an undocumented person who for a while, when I was undocumented, you don't qualify for any of these meals, for any of these like subsidies, that or none of that stuff. So it's just like out of the kindness that you learn how to survive, and it's that hunger that reminds you to stay grounded to your community, to your neighbors. And I know Mott Haven has a lot of working immigrant families with the same situation as I did, and therefore there's no questions asked, no ID asked. If you need a plate of food, who am I to deny if I have the ability to do so? So the new location will have the restaurant, the mutual aid, and a green space. The new dining room will have 36 hours, a coffee bar, a rooftop garden, and private dining room. Our mutual aid will have multiple storage rooms, a community gathering space, and an educational space.
Need water.
I just need a little bit of time. Sorry.
Take your time. Asthma.
Yeah, sorry.
Allergies. No, take your time.
Asthma, South Bronx.
There's water here.
No, está bien. Está bien, gracias. I'm okay.
I'll leave it here anyway.
Thank you. And then what we also want to continue with our green program is by creating a rooftop garden on top of the second floor. Right now, we're looking into what used to be, thanks so much, two shades, just like a corner building. And it's just like people, when we tell them about our intentions, they were like, yeah, you're gonna sanctify that place the same way that since it has been abandoned for over like a couple of years now. So the fact that this abandoned building is now coming into usage and we want to do all these wonderful things has brought a lot of great encouragements from the community itself. And part of the green space that we want to create is through the rooftop garden to help with the carbon sequestration of whatever it's emitted naturally through the restaurant. So we want to be as ethical and as eco-conscious as possible. And this, we also want to make it into a science space where we could teach people how to grow their own food and to the nutrition, and just like make it into an ecological science space, which we have already done with the community garden, but we now want to do something that is all year round. This is where we want to go to. And this is a big project where we have been, we acquired this building about 2 years ago, and we already have the whole architectural design and team. So it's just a matter of just getting the place, getting the permits, and hopefully by the end of spring, we will be able to relocate to this place. It's, 25th and 3rd Ave. And next slide, please. And as I mentioned, so it's like a 3-floor. These are from our architectural design where we want to have half of the first floor to be a kitchen and the other half to be like mutual space and coffee gathering. So it's just like if you want to have like a nice meeting because things, we could have nice things come from this community. We don't need like large corporations to come through. Moms and pops gems come from the South Bronx. Hip hop came from the South Bronx. So I think it's about time that we own that for the South Bronx. And then the fine dining, or whoever wants to have a home and try entry for their family, they could go and sit down. The second floor, we want to make it into the also like the mutual aid or community event space, but also an art space. On earlier this year, we had an event with Bronx Art. Is the Bronx Art art space, and it was the Sos Pueblos event. On the first day, opening day, we had over 800 people and over 30 migrant artists. So the art space is something that has been asked for. And again, we're in community. People feel comfortable to come through and just like be in a safe space. So we want to provide that safe space. Yeah. And this is going to be our nonprofit, Nusabi, which has our mutual aid has evolved to. In order to sustain our mutual aid kitchen, we have started we have converted to Nusabi NYC. And our vision statement is to continue preserving and sharing the traditional ecological knowledge, cultural arts, and collective wisdom of the Mixteco and other indigenous peoples from the global south who have settled in Lenape's territory. And here are some of our events that we did this year. We hosted our annual Three Kings celebration. The first year we hosted, it was at a church in the North Bronx where we had over 3,000 people to showing up, where they received gifts and food and other community resources, including like donations of like clothing and coats. So it's a big event, and the space is much needed. That huge event, it's very hard to host it a lot more. That right now we are just able to give toys away because we don't have that space as big of a space as the church. We're constantly being asked to sit on panels. This is at the CUNY Graduate Center. We're constantly collaborating with Fordham University, as well as the New School, NYU, Columbia University, due to our indigenous knowledge of our indigenous food, as well as of our activism, let it be from immigration to anything that deals with civil rights. And that is how this precious building looks like right now. But it's just like, there is so much hope for it, and it's just like, we can only see our dreams in that. We've worked really hard to establish here to set roots in La Morada, in Mott Haven, and we don't want to leave. And it looks like an impossible task right now, but we are hard workers, and nobody said that we were going to be successful during the economic downturn in 2009, but here we are 15 years later, right? And this is where we need your support. This is our vision. This is the state-of-the-art kitchen we want, and this is part of the cafe space we're hoping to have, where people will be able to pick up meals in a dignified manner. And if you go to La Morada, you will see that the meals that people pick up, you don't know who's picking up free meals or who's sitting down, because that's nobody's business, So it's like we treat our clients as well as we treat people who come in for free meals, because everybody deserves the right to eat. So if you can afford it, that's great. We're still going to treat you with that respect, and we want to respectfully provide a better, nicer space for everybody. The timeline is we are working with Lion SDLT as the architectural, and we have already finalized the design. We are hoping to start demolition soon, within the next 2 weeks, and then hopefully by spring we want to open up the space. Next slide, please. So our current budget right now, we have fundraised 1.9. The whole cost of the project is 4.9. We have received zero funding from the government, let it be for this project or for any of our mutual aid. We're hoping to ask for 1.9 million, but knowing that the RFP has the ability to provide more, we're hoping to request a little bit more so we can make it wheelchair accessible. So we're aiming to have that as well. This is a very basic project in order to make it more sound for more environmentally friendly, with making it more like electrical instead of gas. That was going to be more costly, but now knowing that there's this grant, we might increase the price for a bit more to add it to make it wheelchair accessible on all floors, as well as to have more electrical appliances instead of gas. Yes. That's my presentation.
Who issued the RFP?
That's all.
Wait, there's one more.
Oh, yes. Ooh. Yeah, so we estimate to provide 70 jobs, at least 70 jobs between the restaurant as well as the not-for-profit. This is just starting off. We're committed to continue providing the 300 plus free meals. And we want to make sure that this will provide a cultural institution, continue to be a community sanctuary, a science space with a rooftop garden, an art space, a mutual space, and an educational space for traditional knowledge sharing. And of course, the fine dining.
Okay, now we can. So who issued the RFP?
Nobody has issued the RFP. I just found out because I received an application for this presentation. And with the application, I read that if I wanted to apply for an RFP grant. And then
From whom?
from the Economic Development
BODC.
EDC.
Bronx
Oh,
Yes.
from EDC.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was trying to figure that out.
Because in your presentation, I was trying to figure out, you keep saying RFP, you didn't say the agency. And now the RFP, does it give a specific number, or she can ask for X amount of dollars?
So as she fits into the apartment zone, she asks for X amount of dollars, as long as she is showing that she is going to provide X amount of jobs and provide an economic development engine to a community that's a desert right now. And that location where that used to be, that was formerly a club.
I don't-
Club closed down. And so now so that it's been closed since before she purchased the property. And as you look at the pictures, the property is desolate.
Right.
There's nothing happening there. And so she has to, she work with a business professional from BODC that will follow her along the line. This is a grant or loan.
We're hoping for a grant, sir.
So the grant to BODC, and so that's she's looking for the community. My understanding, you're looking for the community board to support your application for the grant to develop this business along mixed with some community development resources that will happen in that space, correct?
Correct, sir.
All right, so since we're not having a vote on this, I'm gonna let the committee ask questions. There's
Sure.
only two of us here, I'm three of us. So before you leave today, I
Yes.
wanna prepare you, because your presentation was a little bit vague.
Okay.
And I want you to have all the opportunity in the world to try to get
You
this
got
letter
it,
of
sir.
support, okay?
Yeah.
It's only fair. Not everyone comes up here and knows exactly what to do. We're gonna give you the tools that you're gonna need. You don't have to write it down. You don't have to write it down, don't worry, it's gonna be very simple.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with Michael here. Michael, have any questions?
Just a simple one.
Yes, sir.
Will you still have the original location and this one in addition, or are you closing the other one down?
I'm closing the other one down. The other one is the current location is a rental, and we have just like outgrown that space. It's just not. We're going to continue the same services, and in order for us to continue and improve the current services, we do need the new location with the new material, and so it wouldn't make sense to continue using this current location if we're going to have running in a nicer space. And we still have the community garden. That community garden is still on an existing So
Yeah, where is that? If you don't mind?
that is in one.
36.
What-
One
What is
thirty-seven
it?
Jackson, Jackson, 137 Jackson.
Yes.
Brunner Boulevard.
Yeah.
136 and Brunner
Brooklyn.
Boulevard.
Bruckner
Yes.
and Jackson.
Sí.
Right near where the auto shops are in that area.
That gas station. that's
No, the gas
attached.
station's on the other side. So that it's where the auto shops are,
Ah,
where the auto shops are and.
I know it's one,
It's kind of, it is the community garden with the fence that is built
ah,
using
This
this,
is for that.
uh,
That's by that
the-
gas station that's attached to a building. I know where it is.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a gas
Yes.
station
Is
there?
that the-
On the other side, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one that, anyway, we're not gonna go into that gas station that's attached to a
Like
residential.
this.
Yeah, that's a little bit
That's another
dangerous.
issue.
Yes.
yeah.
And then the fire hydrant didn't work for a while, so we
And
were.
it's complained about
Yep.
5 years ago.
All right,
Yeah.
do you have any questions?
I live
Uh,
on Cypress.
let me ask you something. Without the grant,
Yes.
can you move forward? Do you have
Um,
any other sources of funding available?
Yes, ma'am. We have fundraised 1.9. Well, it's more like a matching grant. So we started a GoFundMe to try to get the complete 1.9. But so far, the grant, we're partnered up with Sparks of Hudson, and they have generously offered to continue paying off for the architectural and a lot of the business expenses, current expenses, by using this 1.9 matching grant.
And I'm sorry, what is the organization that's helping?
Sparks of Hudson.
Sparks of
Yeah.
Hudson? Okay.
We during the COVID pandemic, we reached a lot of farms in the Hudson Valley
Okay.
because there was no food in the supermarkets, and instead of just competing with our neighbors or just waiting a long line to get into Hunts Point and not having enough resources, as migrants, we worked the fields, so we already had connections with other Oaxacan migrants in the Hudson Valley who connected us to their bosses, and we were able to have direct connections with the growing farms, and from there grew this connections with Sparks of Hudson.
So is your intent to move regardless, whether you get the grant or not? Will you be moving?
Correct. Regardless of whether I get the grant or not, I will be moving, but the grant will facilitate things for us to reach that goal. The grant will help us, instead of us investing all our savings right now on building or finishing the construction, we will use our funding to make sure that we reach that 70 minimum employee. We know that's needed right now. And it will help the community members a lot. So the grant will make the difference of whether we're able to provide enough employment to the community, and how long it will actually take us to fulfill all the services that we want to do in this building. That's what's going to make the difference.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So before you leave,
Yes, sir.
I wanted you to understand that you came before the board because you're requesting a letter of support, right? So I
Yes.
want you, when you come back, emphasize that that's what you're here for. I'm here, you can give the whole spiel on, what the morada is and what your plan is, but the reality, you need to tell us, I'm here because I'm looking for a letter of support because I'm applying for a grant through this agency and this agency
Right.
for this amount of money.
Okay.
And this is how I'm gonna spend it. And the money is gonna be used to fix the building, hire employees, to meet the requirements of the grant, right?
Okay.
Also, make sure that you give specifics on the timeline, specifics on what you said. If I don't get the grant, then I have to move forward with what I have.
Yeah.
How you raise the money, that's very important. Show them that you've raised your own money without the grant. And also be specific and tell us which agency, when the committee votes on giving you a letter of support, which agency do you want the committee to address the letter to? So it can't be two multiple ones. You're addressing to one, okay? The one that's most important to you. All right?
Thank you, sir.
And so hopefully when you come back, make the presentation again. We'll have quorum. You'll do it and you'll be more prepared.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
So you'll be more prepared. I gave you now information. You can always ask the district manager. They'll help you. They'll tell you, make sure you have this and this and this and this and this.
Will
Okay,
do,
because
sir.
we're not here to stall your project, but we need to have information before we make a decision as a committee to vote yes or no. We're here to help.
I appreciate it.
Okay?
I just came here out of reverence to.
When you meet with her after, you can ask her any questions you want, okay? Because I don't do, yes, go ahead.
May I?
Yes, yes.
So thank you, and so on behalf of, and thank you, Chairman, for your leadership, and we know very much of Amaran and how, and the work you've done, especially during multiple administrations to ensure that our indigenous people have the access to resources and services, especially the homeless population. I grew up on 140th Street between Brook and Willis, so I know the area for, yeah, I'm not gonna tell you my real age, but I know that you've been recognized by several elected officials, like the former mayor of Blasi and others
Yes.
for the work that you've done. So I've done my homework. I'm also very familiar with the garden and the unique fence that's around that garden around the corner.
Yes.
I know that there is some more support that's needed because I know there's a lot of issues like park cars in the street that and also the burglary from
Yes.
all the security issues that you've been having in that area. In addition to what the chairman talked about, I want to emphasize too that you should talk about, get more in depth about architecture plan, about the square footage, the jobs, specific jobs, with
Sure.
the money that you're applying for. Be speaking only for capital, which is the facade, brick and mortar of the buildings,
Yes.
or would it be split between jobs and buildings? How long will it
Yes.
carry you? How long do those dollars carry you?
Hours of
The period
operation.
time, all those things that
Okay.
relates to that, because what we want to do
Yeah.
with you as a partner
Yeah.
is tell the best story to
Exactly.
ensure that will be able to help you be able to market it the best. Because what we don't want to happen, as the chair was talking about,
Yeah.
is what happens a lot with these grants
Yeah.
is that it one missing item or any vague
Yeah.
comments can
Agreed.
make the process extremely longer. And since we're using tax dollars, the community
Right.
and the community will have the right to know as much information. So your presentation has to lead to less questions and more information.
Sure.
So don't be afraid about timing. We will be able to give you the time you need
Perfect.
and to be able to help flush up those questions. But but I understand that you were putting something together for
Yeah.
for such a time as this, because what you don't want is again come back next month. And as we get into the Thanksgiving and now Christmas and everything else that goes on, what is the lease ending in the space on Willis Avenue between 130?
Yeah. It's March 2026. So we're
You have to
Yep.
have some process where you have a working restaurant
at least
by
right.
March in order to happen.
Yeah.
So the building will be done in phases.
We are hoping to have demolition complete, like cut it. Everything is just like not at working conditions. So that like once you start with that, everything just falls apart.
Right.
So we have to do like new plumbing and new
So
electrical work.
downstairs was a club and a restaurant.
Yeah.
All that stuff
Nice
is good.
building.
Right. And then upstairs was what apartment units, or was it this open space?
There were apartment units.
And those
So-
and also none of it. So now it needs to be gutted because because of the time it's been used, it's probably infested, water damage, probably everything else that's
Yeah.
in that building. So
There's like also some environmental issues. There's a big water tank. And I know that's like common here in the Bronx with old buildings. So like that is one of the headaches that we have right now. And that will include like us redoing like the sewer and all that stuff. But I'm hoping to have a space. I think as long as we have like a space with actual floors and running electricity and water, we
Right.
can continue our community events.
Right.
And that's what I think will be more hurtful for us
Right.
because it's just like a lot of people depend on Amurala. And I just don't know. We could easily, again, back down and just take it easy for those 2 months, well, if we need to like transition to this place, but we don't, because every single day we give out bread and hot meals, and every single day people come through waiting for the meals to be ready. And
So you talked about and I'll be done, Mr. Chairman, if I may have a little left to not be
Right?
you talked about that where you have a building that is not used right now, has a lot of issues that you need to resolve in order to retrofit it to make it work. Do you have a GC that you're, because I know that you have to engage who's consulting but not yet been hired to say that, who can talk to you about what it would take, manpower, materials, resources to be able to put together your architectural plans?
Yes, we do have a general contractor. We also have all the paperwork, the engineer report, all of that. It's already we've already filed with the architectural paperwork. We are waiting for permission for demolitions. We are right now applying for the asbestos removal, which should take about a week.
Right.
And then from there, we'll
So that's
see.
something
Then
actually
let's
what would
see
be the
what else
environmental
it just
impact.
This is big.
The environmental impact,
You
yeah.
got a tower,
This is not gonna.
you have, asbestos removals, you need asbestos abatement, this
Yes.
is.
Yes.
So that's how I was
All
gonna
of the stuff that you
So
have to-
leading to those things, because what we have here on our team
Yeah.
are people who are gonna detail and ask you those questions, who either served on the board, be part of the community, and served for a while. And so it's not to hinder you, but it's to, again, to
Yeah.
have you be able to
Yeah.
speak into those things that you
Yeah.
part of the presentation.
I
So
actually have
allow
it.
you, but it should be part of your presentation. So next time you come back, so you can be able
Yeah.
to say, these are our things. And so, and then, and so my office is willing to help you see the trees before while the crowd set up. We want to support that work because again, we are very familiar with what you have done already, and but we want to make sure that it makes sense with what you're saying, because you want to make sure you have a lot of people who get it during the presentation. But we want to commend you though for the strength that you have done to raise 1.9 million, and this that is
Phenomenal.
phenomenal. It's not the easiest work, because that means that you have people who believe in your work and believe in the vision that's going forward. Let us be your help work would be your stewards, so that when you come back, the committee will be full-fledged ready to support. And our colleagues at the ODC, when they see a letter of support that comes from the reflection of this community board, they see that as something that they definitely work. So
I'm sorry. I
No.
just need to take a moment because
no, take your time.
like I do know that the 1.9 this is a dream going on for like a couple of years already.
Yes, 2023. Yeah.
And it's been hard the 5 years. Like, it's a small business. It's hard, but like even with like making soups, it's hard to feed people for free, to feed people in general, like with having a restaurant running. But it's just like, it's just the amazing love and support of the community that it makes it happen. And whenever we receive something, we give twice as back at least.
I have one more question, and so that I can turn the meeting back over to the chair. When you talk about programming, what exactly programming as you see it? We talked about hot meals. Now you're talking about expanding that programming, and you and your family are working with Indigenous brothers and sisters to make sure the resources, especially at times like this.
Yeah.
We know what happened in previous years. What are those programs and services as you see it that leads to the staffing that you talked about, not only in the restaurant but in the community?
Yeah, so we are we started a non-for-profit. The La Morada Aid Kitchen evolved to New Savi, NYC. We formed this non-for-profit to continue sustaining the nonprofit initiatives to not only feed people but also do a lot of cultural events. Besides the Three Kings Day, we also have like Earth Days and other like festivities where we just gather in community, and that's where we use as an excuse to check in with our neighbors and see what is in need right there. Let it be, maybe after school programs, and or like food for kids who are in after school. We partner up with Upbeat because there was a need for food for these kids. Upbeat NYC is a music nonprofit here. So we hope to continue building those relationships with the other non-for-profits. So that's always key. But we also have a lot of relationships with colleges. And I feel like there is a need to bridge our community youth with college, access to college. And what does that mean? It's having one-on-one encounters with maybe not only students, but with teachers, professors, or any academians to see that it's not so scary, it's not so far. And we are so accustomed and comfortable in the settings of being in academia, that we're hopeful to bridge that access with our community, who already feels comfortable with us.
So we want to honor that assessment that you've done, and we want to also have extend on that on some of the other assessments that you of other resources and services. We know that there's a lot of unhoused children, especially for individuals who are in our shelter systems, or
Yep.
we know that we have a large immigrant issue as it relates to what people are afraid to be in vulnerable locations like churches, and schools, and
Mhm.
weddings, and all the things that we all want to do as this
Yep.
people. And we know that also we want to make sure that, like you talked about, making sure that the people who come here as a household is not English as a first language. They go to our school system, and then we want them to perform well so they can
Yep.
be on that track academically to be able to be the first generations or both of the school, future home ownership, other opportunities, being good neighbors and
Yep.
citizens and stuff like that. So we will be happy to
Yes,
talk with you
sir.
more. Please reach out to our office about setting up a conversation. I will go to the restaurant. I promise not to eat a lot to be able to have the conversation about how things are going again. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the letter.
Thank you. Michael, do you have any more questions?
Oh, can I,
Go ahead.
just quickly, when you are the owners of this building?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. It's under the Golden Child QBC, I think that's all.
Yeah, I'm just saying that
Yes.
LLC, I just didn't know if there was anybody else involved, but it's you and your family.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So when you make your presentation the next time, also give us hours of operation, how many days a week you're opening, and how many people you're serving right now, and how many you're planning on serving, where they're coming from, stuff like that. That's what the committee needs to know,
Okay, sir.
okay?
You got it.
Other than that, there are some members of the community here. When I adjourn the meeting, you're more than welcome to, they can ask all the questions you want, okay?
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming by.
Thank you
and I
very
think you'll be
much.
prepared. You have any questions, you can ask.
Thank you very much.
Before we leave, just this, under new business, I just wanna make, an introduction. Susan Camerata, I'm gonna, make sure that during the next meeting, I'm nominating her as being my vice chair for the committee in the event that I am not here.
Thank you.
Susan's been on the board and on this committee for many years. She knows how to navigate the bylaws, which are very important to me, and navigate the committee. Other than that, everybody have any questions? There's no quorum, so we're not following the
None,
agenda.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I'm gonna adjourn, meeting adjourned.
Thank you very much, Fred, thank you.